Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dissect the fascinating psychology behind top performers in the workplace. Have you ever wondered why certain people just seem to have this endless reservoir of energy to get things down? You know the type, right? Why are they the ones constantly pushing projects across the finish line while everyone else is completely out of breath? Well, today, we're putting that exact personality type under the microscope. We're breaking down the anatomy of an achiever. Okay, let's dive into this. The absolute key to understanding the achiever mindset is this one simple phrase. Every day starts at zero. For an achiever, yesterday's trophies, they do not win today's games. They wake up each and every morning with this intense, relentless inner fire to just accomplish something new, to complete tasks, and to move things forward. It literally doesn't matter if they just finished a massive, award-winning project on Friday afternoon. By the time Monday morning rolls around, the scoreboard is wiped completely clean in their heads, and they're right back at zero, hungry to attain more. To really ground our understanding today, the insights we're going through are drawn directly from the SwitchOn Strengths framework. It's a genuinely brilliant tool for identifying what actually energizes you and your team. We'll be using their specific research and terminology today to help you spot this achiever trait. And who knows, you might recognize it in the mirror, or maybe sitting right across from you in your next team meeting. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll go inside the engine room. Second, we'll look at what the achiever needs. Third, we'll explore the balcony and basement. And finally, we'll wrap up with blind spots and team contrasts. Let's start with section 1, inside the engine room, the drive to get things done. And this brilliantly illustrates what makes this powerful persona tick. To define them, we really have to look at their core function within an organization. The achiever is literally the engine room of the team. Think about it like a ship. While other people might be the steering wheel or the navigation system coming up with all the big ideas, the achiever is the heavy machinery making the boat actually move. They bring undeniable momentum, incredible stamina, and pure execution. They are that relentless force that naturally pushes work toward completion and ensures responsibilities are actually carried through to the very end. Simply put, they complete the race. If you're trying to spot an achiever in the wild, you'll see someone who is exceptionally diligent, driven, and, let's be honest, pretty intense. They're incredibly loyal team members, highly motivated, productive workers with a really deep sense of ambition. They usually work remarkably well independently, but perhaps most importantly, they are finishers. They aren't just starters, they actually get things done. Does this sound like you? Or maybe it sounds like that one colleague who is always head down, just powering through their to-do list. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Remember that concept of starting at zero? Well, for a strong achiever, every day truly means every single day. We are talking work days, weekends, holidays, and yes, even vacations. Imagine an achiever sitting on a beautiful tropical beach. If the entire day passes without some form of achievement, no matter how small, they will actually feel dissatisfied. They rarely finish a grueling project and ask to be rewarded with rest or some easy assignment. Nope, they're already looking for the next mountain to climb. Let's move to and see how this builds in section 2, what the achiever needs, fueling the engine. So, what happens when we put this personality into a team setting? Because an engine this powerful absolutely needs the right kind of fuel to keep running efficiently. First off, let's just appreciate the immense value they bring. Alongside a relentless work ethic, a strong goal focus, and a consistent willingness to go the extra mile, the most fascinating dynamic is how they set the pace for everyone else. Achievers naturally raise the standard of performance for the entire team, simply by how they show up and operate. Their momentum, it is totally contagious. But what an achiever actually needs from a manager or a colleague to sustain that momentum is super interesting. They need clear goals, targets, and measurable outcomes. They love conversations that are focused on end results. They thrive when they have a sense of being busy and are surrounded by peers who also value hard work. But here is the surprising part. They have a huge need for permission to rest and celebrate wins. Because they're constantly looking at the next task, they almost always forget to stop and breathe. They actually need their environment to give them explicit permission to pause and celebrate. Moving right along to section 3, the balcony and basement, the duality of the strength. In the SwitchOn Strengths framework, every single strength has a powerful, positive side, which they call the balcony, and a dangerous, risky side when it's pushed way too far. That's the basement. The contrast here is stark. Up on the balcony, you've got this vibrant, self-motivated, disciplined leader who is tireless and highly productive. They lead by example, just a shining beacon of getting things done. But If they don't manage that drive, they plummet straight into the basement. Down there, they become totally overcommitted and unbalanced. Because they want to achieve so badly, they struggle to say no. They start prioritizing work over absolutely everything else, burning the candle at both ends until they completely burn out. It is a very fine line between high performance and total exhaustion. Which brings us to Section 4, blind spots and team contrasts, navigating friction. We've established the achiever is a powerhouse, right? But what happens when this relentless, high-speed train shares the track with, well, other types of trains? That is exactly where friction happens. Picture this. You've got a fast-moving achiever paired with a colleague who takes a much more relaxed, measured approach to their day. What happens? Boom. The achiever hits their blind spots. They can become deeply frustrated when others don't work with their exact same intensity or urgency. And in turn, the team might experience the achiever as overly demanding or even harsh. On top of that, their immense desire to just get things done can cause them to commit to projects way too quickly before they even fully understand the expectations. They really have to ensure they actually have the time, energy, and resources to follow through effectively. So the crucial point is understanding how different strengths contrast in the workplace. The achiever's mantra is, I want to get it done. Their focus is intense diligence. But compare that to an activator, whose mantra is, I want to get it started. Or compare it to an intellection profile, whose focus is on intense thinking. You can immediately see why a healthy team needs all these types, but also why they might seriously clash if they don't understand each other's fundamentally different drives. Which brings us to our final thought today. If you recognized yourself in this explainer, I want you to honestly ask yourself, are you driving the engine, or is the engine driving you? Are you living up on the balcony, using your momentum to inspire everyone around you, or are you trapped down in the basement, struggling to say no and burning the candle at both ends? Understanding your workplace strengths is the very first step to truly mastering them. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the achiever. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.